How's it going, guys, and welcome to your morning cup. Elephants who had escaped natural reserves were spotted sleeping after a 500-kilometer trek. So a herd of Chinese elephants who had escaped a natural reserve in China last year were recently spotted sleeping in a forest. Though the reason behind their journey is unclear, they've reportedly covered upwards of 500 kilometers. Most nature experts are suggesting that it is displacement of their original habitats and a lack of natural resources for them to be able to sustain themselves. That is why they're choosing to migrate along such ginormous distances just to make sure that they have enough to sustain themselves, a herd as a whole. Considering that elephants are really smart creatures and they do understand a herd mentality in terms of keeping their close ones close, especially their younglings. So after raiding farms for food and water with no casualties of animals or people, reports puts damage of the crops to upwards of 1 million. But then again, how much money can buy lives of creatures whose entire ecosystems we've destroyed? Syria activates air defense systems against Israeli aggressions. Now, Syrian air defense systems have been activated against an Israeli aggression. Israel, after its aggression against Gaza, has now moved on to its aggression against Syria. What we understand is that the Israeli missiles on Tuesday night targeted Syria's military sites. SANA news organization reported the Syrian army has claimed that it has shot down some missiles fired by Israel. Israeli planes had reportedly arrived in Syrian airspace from Lebanon's airspace following the explosions in Damascus. So things are of a speculation as to if Syria and Israel are going to go into an all-out war kind of a situation, but it's still touch and go, considering that a brand new Israeli prime minister is afoot and Bashar al-Assad is still very much prevalent in Syria. What might happen next in the region is still up for grabs, but by no means is the region stable. After Israel went to war with Gaza for a few days at most, we are here now looking at a whole new front where things might escalate rather quickly, because Syria is already a nation that has tons of ripples within itself. Bunch of room for international bodies to start piling in. As we've spoken about on numerous occasions, proxy wars lead to more tensions building. US has probed Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, as well as Warren Buffett, and turns out that the Treasury Department said that the investigation of how tax information of several rich people was leaked to the public has been rather concerning to them as well. Any unauthorized disclosure of confidential government information is illegal. This was emphasized by the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki. This comes out after media outlets ProPublica's reports that billionaires including Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and Warren Buffett paid next to no money at all. Last year, Elon Musk paid about $480 million out of his entire earnings, whereas Jeff Bezos as well as Warren Buffett paid next to nothing. They paid next to nothing in the year 2018, 2019, and 2020 as well. The tax records go as deep as you possibly can, but then again, Warren Buffett's representative then put out a statement dictating the fact that how one individual's information like this can come out is very concerning, and they will be pursuing any and all legal actions to figure out what part of the government is responsible for this leak, and they will pursue consequences for this breach of privacy, which makes sense, because if this was any other regular citizen, you would expect the government to adhere to the same situational biases that it has in place. But because we're talking about a billionaire and a lot of people cannot relate to him, a lot of people would instead go against him and say that why are you against your tax returns being out there? And here we are, wherein we don't tell each other how much we make in a month, irrelevant of the fact that just because I told you how much money I make in a month, you cannot take it away from my bank account. People don't share the amount of revenue they generate on any occasion, and we want super rich people to disclose how much they make. Of course, tax incentives and all that, they come into play, and it is a completely flawed system, considering that the tax system makes sure that the uber rich stay uber rich. This entire agenda of the rich pay more than what middle class people pay is completely false, and this Even though it's illegal and even though the means by which it has come out is rather iffy, proves that point. Indian exports have risen 52% to 7.71 billion. Now India's exports have grown by 52.39%. Preliminarily released by the Commerce Ministry showed that exports of gems and jewelry, engineers and petroleum products rose by 98.38% to about 297 million, 59.7% to 741 million and 69.5% to 530 million respectively. We're talking about gems, jewelry, engineering and petroleum. Imports also rose by around 83%. So we're looking at a time wherein the Indian economy is at its lowest point since we got independence. So the drop that we looked at, that was unique in its own aspect and very concerning to every single individual who knew about the economy to begin with. Well, it turns out that the curve might be turning around.